Alright, welcome to the channel. So this was released quite a long time ago yesterday, about 19 plus hours ago I think it was now. I actually haven't seen it. I was tagged in it on Twitter and I didn't want to look at it just yet. I wanted to do like a live reaction to it, I guess. But this was HBO Max's Zack Snyder Justice League sneak peek. And I thought we'd just look at it together basically. So let's take a look, see if it's any good, and I guess talk about it, see if it builds hype, because HBO Max have been doing some funny things recently, you know, like kowtowing to the whole you know, removal of media because reasons. So let's see if this, I guess, you know, curries favour with anyone, shall we?
The bell's already been rung, and they've heard it.
Alright.
Out in the dark, among the stars. Ding dong, the god is dead.
Alright, nice. Yeah, I like it, good. Not all too much to kind of dive into there, really, is it? Obviously, I do wonder, like, how different it really is now then, because if you think about where this would go and fit into the movie that we'd already seen, like, where would it actually fit in? Now, this article says some bits and pieces, not really that much, to be perfectly honest. Just says the trailer begins with Wonder Woman discovering a wall with a painting of a mother box on it. Yep, and that's it. And basically Lex Luthor's saying, you know, the bells have already been rung and they've heard it. You know, ding dong, the god is dead. But in the dark among the stars, ding dong, the god is dead, which is obviously a reference to Superman, I would imagine. So let's check it out again. I want to kind of break this down. Like, the cinematography is good. Zack Snyder's films always look good from like a technical perspective. Some of the coloring's always a little bit off, I think. Not off, should I say, muted. Whereas some of the colorings, when it's a comic book movie and you mute the background, the costumes look muted against it, so it looks a bit off. What I mean by that is, like, if you look at Superman's costume, for instance, like, against the muted background and it being muted, it sort of just blends into one. Just something I'd noticed. I don't know. Just thoughts. So take a look at it again.
The bell's already been rung.
I really do, I don't like his Lex Luthor. That voice is so annoying.
The bell's already been rung, and they've heard it.
I really fucking, I really do hate his Lex Luthor. God damn. But that's nice, right? I'm gonna brighten the image a little bit so you can see it. But obviously here, as she's bringing it up, like, it actually looks like the lighting's very smooth and it flows very nicely. So as she starts to raise the torch, it actually starts to bring the light up, which is difficult to do because obviously it's not the torch that's doing that. They're obviously moving lights, you know, bringing them up to do it, and it works. Like that, yeah, it's good. But it also, like, where is she when she's doing this? You know, like, I don't know where she is. So I am very curious as to where this is going to sit.
Out in the dark, among the stars.
Also, I do wonder, like, she would obviously know who who Darkseid is then, and, you know, surely, because she's, like, she looks terrified, you know? Like, look at her, see, look, she's like, oh my god, oh my god. See, she's like shaking.
Out in the dark, among the stars. Ding dong, the god is dead.
So I would imagine that this is actually after the Amazonian slaughter. Do you reckon? Do you reckon? I reckon so. And there might be some information out there to say that that is the case, and I don't know, maybe I've picked it up via osmosis. It looks good. Like, again, who doesn't like looking at Gal Gadot? Obviously, fantastically beautiful woman. I think she actually makes a really good Wonder Woman as well. And I'm probably in the minority there. I don't know. But that's cool. He does look a bit dumb there, doesn't he? Interesting. Yeah. It looks alright. I don't know. Not much else to say really on it. Like, what do you say on it? Now, I guess the other discussion here is the fact that it's written by Chris Terrio. Now, what else has Chris Terrio done recently? Fairly certain he's been involved in some Star Wars. So his screenwriting is not super good. I mean, even if we actually take a look at it, right? So we look at his IMDb, because this is important. You know, this will actually have you know, some point of whether he's going to be very good or not. So his most recent would have been so Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Not so good. It's interesting how they're listing it twice. So I think this is interesting, right? Like, if you look at it, Justice League and then Zack Snyder's Justice League. So they're actually counting it as a completely different movie now. Now this is IMDb and people can just kind of go in there and things like that. But that is surprising. And what else has he done? Argo, BVS, and then Justice League and stuff. He really leveled up quite quickly, didn't he? Fuck me. Argo. So Book of Kings, a short, Heights, additional screenplay material, and then literally straight into Argo, BVS, Justice League, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and then gone to these. Like, he doesn't really... what? Oh my god. He leveled up super quickly. And he was a producer on these as well. Director, not a lot. Editor, miscellaneous. Yeah. Look, we all know his Rise of Skywalker is massively questionable. And did you know? I guess it's down to like how much involvement Zack Snyder had with BVS in terms of the writing, you know, because here, you know, it's the Justice League screenplay was written by Chris Terrio based on a story by Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder. So what does that tell you? Is it Chris Terrio's story? Is it Zack Snyder's story? Did Chris Terrio just flesh it out? Which sometimes happens. Most prominently, if you look at the likes of the new Hellraiser reboot movie, which is obviously in flux at the moment due to Clive Barker suing. But when we're looking at that, you know, that's a story apparently by David Goyer, which is then being fleshed out by other screenwriters, which is an adaptation of the original. So the discussion here is really how much involvement did Chris Terrio have with BVS? Did you enjoy it? Is that a good thing? Justice League, how much did he have involved in that versus what's coming forward? Because if you look at the fact that Zack Snyder's Justice League is apparently a different movie now, is quantified and is counted as a completely different movie, does that mean that Chris Terrio's involvement in that is actually quite small? Because how would he be the writer for both of them if they're so different? If you see what I mean? And I know you can be, but I'm just trying to justify, you know, a debate for whether he is any good or not. And I think, unfortunately, the most egregious part of all this is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, because that's screenplay by and story by, which is not very good at all. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Personally, this I actually really did quite like the look of. I think it looks good. Sorry I didn't see it any sooner. Yesterday was a really bad day for me for many reasons. Health and such forth. Don't want to get into it. So sorry I didn't bring this to you any sooner, but hopefully I kind of made this worthwhile. We've had a bit of a discussion and we can contribute to the forum down below in the comment section. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please do let me know. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Stay up to date on this and all my other kind of nonsense here on the channel. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, I have been Mr. H. Take care.